Awesome. For today, welcome to the first session of the D63 Power Hour. This is what all of us have been waiting for, right? You have. We are so excited. Can you tell how excited I am? Yes, you can. Because you know what? I am excited because this training is for all of us. And we have heard your plea to have additional training beyond what we receive in the TLI trainings and any other training. So this is for you. And we want you to help us to navigate this journey and share with us any information you believe would be helpful for all of us here to help us all to grow personally and professionally. And we also need you to help us to move this thing along. And what I mean by that is we need presenters. We need some people to help us with the topics that have been thrown at us. And all of us are capable of doing that, but we just need you to raise your hand and say, yes, do it. And we will get in contact with you. So we're going to move right along. We have some great presenters here today. They have been Toastmasters for a very long time. And I am going to, before I introduce them, I'm going to read the mission statement. Hopefully everyone can see the screen. The D63 Power Hour is the packed hour designed to energize your Toastmasters journey through focused learning and meaningful connections, offered at a pace that respects your schedule while maintaining momentum in your development. Our mission is to provide District 63 members with consistent, high-quality educational content while building connections across clubs. Now, I want to start with a brief quote. This quote is by John Gordon, and it says, "Great leaders don't succeed because they are great. They succeed because they bring out the greatness in others." And I believe that's why every one of us is a member of a Toastmaster club. And we are so happy that you have chosen to be a member of the D63 family. So moving right along, if anyone has any questions about what the presenters are presenting on the topics, I'm going to ask you to please put your questions in the chat. And once the presenters are done, I will give those messages, turn those messages over to them, and so they can respond to your question. Okay, is that good? We're good? Let me see you say yeah. I hear you say yeah. All right, we are ready to move forward with our presentation. Now, our first presenter is Stacy Thomas. Stacy joined Toastmasters in 2012. She has served in all of the club leadership roles. She then decided to pursue leadership beyond the club, eventually serving as district director. Stacy is a distinguished Toastmaster, and tonight she will facilitate an exploration of leadership roles available in District 63. And I am going to share my screen.
Connie,
Sorry.
also introduce Don.
Yes, I am. I was going to go ahead and pull up the presentation before I did that.
Actually, Connie, we may have updated that presentation since we sent it to you. So if it's okay, if I can share my screen.
Sure, absolutely. That's wonderful. Let me go ahead and introduce Don then. So Don joined Toastmasters in 2002. Can you believe that? 2002. Don has served in all of the club leadership roles and most of the district leadership roles. After serving as a lieutenant governor of marketing, the club growth director, Lieutenant Governor of Education, which is now the Program Quality Director, and District Governor, which is now District Director. He was highly encouraged by the leadership of Toastmasters International to serve beyond the district. Within a year, Don was appointed as a region advisor and worked with the leadership teams of 8 to 10 districts. After serving as a region advisor, Dunn then went on to be elected as an international director, serving the members of Toastmasters on the board of directors. Dunn continues to serve on board committees and is honored to be here tonight to talk to us about opportunities to serve Toastmasters beyond the district. Okay, Stacy, I'm now going to turn it over to you.
Right. Thank you. Let me share my screen very quickly
Okay.
and we will get started. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see that. Thank you for being here tonight. We decided to start off this power hour with leadership beyond the district. Because a lot of you probably have been leading in your club. Maybe some have led multiple roles in multiple years. Some of you may be brand new to leadership, and this is the first time you've served in leadership in your club, within your club. But there is a whole world outside your club that will actually grow you in leadership. But even more than that, if you're saying, oh, I didn't really join Toastmasters to lead, I joined to speak, guess what? Leadership gives you multiple opportunities to speak. So that's a little bit of what we want to cover tonight. By the time this is over, hopefully you'll recognize the leadership roles in the district and beyond, recognize the importance of those roles in supporting our clubs, and also recognize the importance and the benefits of those roles to you as the member and all of our other members. So let's talk a little bit about how the district is structured, because some of us may not be familiar exactly with how the district is set up. Toastmasters International considers the member the most important thing. So they're the top of the pyramid. And from there, we go down to the club. A member is part of a club, which is part of an area, which is part of a division, which is part of a district, which is part of a region, and then, of course, World International Toastmasters. Think of it kind of like you being a resident of a community, which is part of a city, a county, a state, a country, and then the world itself. That'll kind of give you some context for the way Toastmasters is organized. This is District 63 as it currently exists. We have 56 active clubs as of today. They're divided into 14 areas and 4 divisions. So you can see the clubs belong to areas, the areas belong to divisions, the divisions belong to the district belongs to a region, and then, of course, the region belongs to Toastmasters International. If you're interested in where you are in District 63, in other words, what area, what division, what does that mean? Where does my club exist? You could actually go to the District 63 website. There is a link there that will show you all of the clubs and which area and which division they are assigned to. Now, within our club, you're probably very familiar with all of these roles. You have the club president, vice president of education, VP membership, treasurer, VP public relations, secretary, and sergeant at arms. We have some corresponding roles similar to those at the district level, just to give you an idea of how they correspond. The club president would be the district director. For the vice president of education, we have somebody called the program quality director, and he's in charge of all the training throughout the district. For the VP of membership, we have a club growth director. Our club growth director is here with us tonight. It's Kayla. And that is the person who's in charge of not only helping existing clubs to stay clubs, but also bringing in new clubs and opening new clubs. For the treasurer, corresponding is the finance manager. That is a position that's also available at the district level. Public relations is public relations manager. That one's easy. For the secretary, we have the administration manager. Now, for sergeant at arms, most districts don't really have a corresponding. A couple of districts have something called a logistics manager. I don't think we use that in District 63, but it might be something we want to think about in the future. That's the corresponding role to the sergeant at arms at your club level. We also have 2 additional roles. division director and area director. Remember, we talked about the district is divided into divisions and areas. Each of those are assigned a director. So let's talk about those roles a little bit more. Above the club level, the first step up, if you just want to go one step up, is the area director. And that's where most people start off on their journey in serving in district leadership. The area director is there to support your club. They have at least 2 visits per year per club that they are assigned to. Most area directors are assigned 4 or 5 clubs at the most. So it's not an overwhelming number of visits that you have to make. You don't have to go to every single club meeting. They're there to assist the club with club success plans. Some of the officers may be new, they may need help in doing that. They are there to conduct club officer installations. So each year when you elect new club officers, if you'd like the area director to come in and conduct that installation for you, they can certainly do that. They're there to brainstorm ideas to support your club and your club's efforts. They will assist with club speech contest, whether that is answering questions about the contests, whether that is actually supporting the contest, being there to help you as a judge or as something else. They are there to assist with those contests. And they're there to help your club get a coach or a mentor. So if you're a new club and you need a club mentor, the area director is going to be assigned to your club. They will recognize that need and help get you a mentor. If you are a club that has 12 or less members, you can have up to 2 coaches. All you have to do is ask your area director, say, I need a coach. Our club needs a coach. And the area director will help make that happen. Now, if you'll notice, it says 2 visits are required per club per year, once in the fall and once in the spring. But we actually encourage our area directors to go more as often as they can, because the more often they are there, the more of a relationship they build up with that club. The area director also hosts council meetings, area council meetings. So if 4 clubs are assigned to an area, they will invite the presidents of DPEs, even the other officers, if they want to. They will come in, meet together, share ideas, help each other out, exchange not only ideas, but also maybe going to each other's clubs and helping each other's out with various meetings, maybe speaking at each club. They help them develop an area success plan. They encourage the clubs to work together. They host the area speech contest, identify mentors and future leaders, and also they're the first line of communication with the district. So if you need something from the district, start with your area director. Then we step up to the division directors. Division directors are one step up from the area directors. So a division director may have 4 or 5 area directors reporting to them. They will assist in club visits as necessary. So if the area director, for some reason or other, can't get to your club, the division director can step in and help. They assist with identifying coaches for those clubs that are eligible for coaches. They coordinate division activities like club officer training, TLI, and speech contests, which are coming up here within the next month. They will develop a division success plan, identify potential new clubs, maybe work with mentors and future leaders to help those clubs get started. They will facilitate district council meetings. 2 meetings are required, but monthly is recommended. These are the division directors for the 2024-2025 year. That means they will be serving. They started in July of last year. They will be serving until June 30th of this year. So Renee is Division B director. Sonia is Division C director. Renee is Division C and Sonia is Division B. I mixed those 2 up, so let's switch those around. Connie is Division D and Jared is Division E. Up above the area and division directors, we have the administration manager. Remember, we talked about her. She's like the secretary, only at the district level. She maintains historical records for the district, records and distributes meetings of the of the deck meetings. She distributes the minutes of the meeting so that things can be voted on. We can keep up with it each time she reads the minutes of the meetings. If you've ever been to a deck meeting, you would have seen this particular individual. It can be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. They assist with scheduling, communicating, calendar events, special meetings, anything like that with the district. The public relations manager, remember that's the VPPR at your club level, only they go a step higher. They're at the district level. So they're going to coordinate publicity events throughout the district. If your club has an event, you can get it to the public relations manager. They will advertise it on a larger scale. So they'll put it out on the district calendar. They'll put it out on the district website. They can put it out on the district Facebook page so they can advertise it to a much larger audience than perhaps you can do. They can help with your open house flyers or club events. They can help with any of the training, getting the word out for all of those events. Anytime you get an email, for instance, the newsletter, that is the public relations manager that sends that out. They are responsible for communicating with the members, making sure they know what's going on, promoting any district events, but also promoting the clubs themselves. They will help with all of those things. All you need to do is get in touch with them. Sonia Van Hook, not only serving as Division B director, but she is also right now standing in as the public relations manager for the rest of this year. Remember, she has available to her Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other websites that she can use. She has a thorough understanding of all of the brand requirements that Toastmasters has on us. She can help your club out in designing any advertising materials that you want to design. Just get in touch with Sonia Van Hook. The finance manager. And you can see there this year's finance manager is Joe Lawson. He oversees the finances of the district. So the district has a budget. Each year we are allowed so much money from Toastmasters International that we are allowed to spend. Some of that is spent on, for instance, the upcoming contests at the area and division level where we're buying awards, we're doing, maybe have to rent a room, maybe get food. All of that comes out of the district budget. We also have visits that the area directors make, and some of that can be charged as well. So the finance manager handles all of that stuff. They are in partnership with district leadership. They make the financial decisions of how things will be spent. They make sure that we have a budget and that we're sticking to our budget so that we don't overrun. They approve any expenditures that we have that are entered into the Concur system, which is the system we use to keep up with any expenditures that we make. It's a very important position. Club growth director is the third ranking officer in the district. They are the ones responsible for marketing, for building up new clubs, for building up existing clubs, for overseeing the coaching program, for overseeing the mentor and sponsor program for new clubs. This particular person has a lot of responsibilities. They have a team of folks that work with them to help them do all of this. None of these positions work within a vacuum. They can have a team for each of these positions. Kayla stepped into the club growth position in November of this year. She will be serving until June 30th of this next year. So this is a very important role that she's taken on. Our program quality director is the second ranking officer in the district right now since November. That is Jeff England. He oversees all the education and training. So every TLI session that we have, he is responsible for. The training that happens at the spring conference, he is responsible for. Anything like that, even Power Hour events and other things like that, if we're providing training, Jeff should be a part of that team that makes that happen. And then we have the district director. This year, that is Jason Cook. He is the highest ranking officer in the district. He appoints other leaders, other district leaders and committees. He oversees the day-to-day operations and finances of the district. He is there to empower and inspire. He's like the president of the club. He is the district's main cheerleader. He is also the person that the Toastmasters International communicates through to make things happen. So, why should you serve as a leader? That's a little bit what we talked about at the first of our presentation. First of all, it's a requirement of getting your DTM. If you're interested in getting your Distinguished Toastmaster designation, you have to put in at least 1 year's service as a district officer. So that's one of those roles we just discussed. It will also enhance your communication skills, your leadership skills, your problem-solving skills. Oh my goodness, it's just incredible the number of people that you will meet that you cannot even imagine at this point. It will open up your world tremendously within Toastmasters. Trust me, I've been there. It actually works. You really learn how to lead in a volunteer organization. You learn how to handle people. You learn how to handle situations that might come up. It will make you a better leader within your home. It'll make you a better leader within your work. It will teach you how to handle situations that might arise at work that you would need to handle. It's really a very positive atmosphere, but it's a very safe place, just like learning to speak within a Toastmasters club. This is a safe place to fail. Everybody's going to be there to support you to make sure that you are successful. If you are interested or possibly interested in serving as a district leader, Ahmad Gillum is currently serving as our leadership committee. If you will get your nomination form to him, you can nominate yourself. This is not like you have to be nominated by somebody else. You can actually just volunteer for the position. There's a couple of forms that you need to fill out. Ahmad has all of those forms for you. He will do it it says between January and March, he will conduct interviews for any leadership candidates that are available. And of course, the term would begin July 1st and run through June 30th of next year. Okay, I will now turn the podium over to Don Biddick, who will proceed on beyond the district level. Don?
Thank you so much, Stacy. Welcome, everybody. Stacy, are you okay with forwarding the slides for me?
I certainly will. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much. So thank you all for attending. Thank you all who will be listening to this recording. Stacy covered a lot of ground there. What I would like to add to that are the opportunities beyond the district. And trust me, when I say opportunities beyond the district, I was a little in awe of what that meant when I was first asked to serve beyond the district. Because I didn't think anything could be better than serving in a leadership role in a district. My personal favorite role was area director. I just love that role. And I couldn't imagine that anything beyond the district would come close to that. But boy, was I wrong. And I'd like to go over some opportunities that are beyond the district. So Stacy, if you could forward, please. All right, leadership beyond the district. Now, this doesn't really sound like a leadership opportunity, the international conference, but trust me, piggybacking on what Stacy said about networking and meeting some amazing people, this is an opportunity to do that. You can be part of a committee. You can be the facilitator of a committee for the international conference. There's also something called the Helping Hands. Helping Hands, I refer to them as sort of sergeant at arms at the conference. You are there to help others. You are there to direct them. You are there to help the organizers of the conference. The biggest benefit to me of doing that role, I was a Helping Hands coordinator after I was district director or district governor. I got my admissions fee paid for. So my registration fee was paid for. So I attended the international conference because of the role I was in for free. Not the hotel, not the meals, but at the time it was around $500, $600 to attend the conference. And I got that for free. That's because I was facilitator of a committee. Helpers on the committee, they get a discount on their fee for registration. It's about 50%, still a great deal. But the people that you meet, you're meeting people, if you're at the registration desk or the packet pickup desk, you're meeting people from all around the world, over 150 countries. You're meeting them, and guess what? They're just like us. They're just like us. They love Toastmasters. They go through similar struggles that we go through here in our district and in the United States. A lot of like-minded people coming together. Another thing that I think is real interesting about the International Conference, the dressing by the people from around the world. You'll have people from certain parts of the world that you can picture on a postcard. They will be dressed in their home country's attire, if you will. And it is so cool to see. Another benefit of attending an international conference, I met so many people around the world and became fast friends with many of them. But I think the biggest thing that helped me was something that helped our district. I got to network and talk with a lot of the international speech contestants at these international conferences, and I got to know many of them. Now, it helped that one of our representatives, Stephen Cornwell, knew some of them and introduced me to them. But again, that's networking. The reason that helped our district was because when I came back from the first couple international conferences that I went to, I had a list of 6 or 7 names of international speakers, past winners and current winners that were willing to come to our district and be guest speakers at our conferences, or they were willing to come and do an educational session for us. Through my service at the International Convention, I was able to meet and arrange for a lot of these people to come to our district and give keynote speeches. I love that part of Toastmasters. They are so willing to come to the district. It helps if you know them, then rather than cold calling them. And I was able to get to know them, especially with Stephen Cornwell's help. But that's one of the things that I really liked about the international conference. And it was at the first couple of international conferences that I don't want to say, as Kayla said earlier, you know, I'm not amazing. Stacy is. I'm not amazing in my mind, but there were several people at the organization, world headquarters, several people on the board of directors who I must have impressed somehow because they asked me to go beyond the district and serve. When somebody at the organization level, somebody on the board of directors comes up to you and says that to you, it's pretty hard to say no. It's pretty hard to say no. And again, I didn't think anything beyond the district could equal the roles that I played here or served here, but I was wrong. And I'll talk about each one of those here as well. Region advisor, I refer to that as an area director on steroids. Being my favorite role of an area director, I was more acceptable to becoming a region advisor. And that's what they had asked me to do after I was district governor. I was still unsure, and I have to share a funny story in my mind with you. When I was approached by some past international presidents about serving the role as region advisor, the next international conference was going to be in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I had a couple of past international presidents tell me, say, Don, if you apply for this region advisor position and you get selected, guess what that means? And I said, what? A free trip to Malaysia at the next international convention. I've got to tell you, in my mind, I told the gentleman, I said, the people, I said, look, I said, you didn't sweeten the pot by saying that. I had this preconception of Malaysia and wasn't quite sure that's the place I wanted to go to. Now, if they had said Hawaii or something like that, I'd have been all over it. So I had to think about that one just a little bit. But the main thing I had to think about was the time away from my family. Because once you go, well, you know what it's like in the district. You're away from your family a lot. It's a little bit more when you go beyond the district because you're not overseeing, facilitating, working with 4 or 5 clubs as area director or 4 or 5 area directors as the division director. I had 8 to 10 districts that I was working with. Now, as region advisor, we work with the leaders of those districts in an operational sense. I want to clarify that because region advisor is an operations manager, so to speak, and an international director is strategic. They're 2 separate roles. They do have some gray areas, but your main role as a region advisor is to help the trios, help the leadership teams of the districts in their day-to-day activities. And I will admit, some of those activities aren't so pleasant. Sometimes you have to do some conflict resolution. But for the most part, it was all Zoom calls. Okay. I would have 4 monthly Zoom calls, one with all of the club growth directors, and we would do lessons learned, sharing ideas, one with the Program quality directors, same thing. One with the district directors, same thing. And then one with all of the leadership teams from all the districts. I could relay information from world headquarters to them, and they could share ideas among themselves as well. And it was really nice because what was working in one district, another district may have never heard of it. And so they would try it. Somebody would try something and it didn't work, and they would share that with everybody. It's an excellent way to share ideas. International director. You do not have to be a region advisor before you go to the step of international director. It's not a stepping stone. You can either go one place or the other, or in my case, I did both. But you didn't have to serve as one to be the other. Now we'll back up a step here to region advisor. I believe our district, including myself, has 2 past region advisors in our district. I believe Stanley C. and myself. Stacy, can you think of a third? I'm thinking those were the 2 that we have in our district.
I think those are the 2 active ones right now that I can
Yeah.
think of.
Okay. Moving to international director, I believe we had 4 in the past before I became an international director. And I became the 5th. Now, we'll say when those 4 before me were international directors, it was years ago. They did not have the position of region advisor at the time. Region advisor was pretty new when I came along. I believe it was in the 2nd year of existence. I was so blessed to be able to serve in both roles. Now, international director is a little bit different because region advisor, you're appointed by the board of directors. They interview all the applicants, and then they make a decision who they believe will be better suited for that role. And I was very lucky that they picked me. International director is quite different. International director, you are voted in by all of the members around the world. I made over 100 Zoom calls to meet with the leadership teams of over 100 districts around the world. I answered their questions. I guess you could say I sold myself to them. But here's the interesting thing, and I think this said a lot about why they enjoyed talking to me, I guess you could say. Because when I was running for international director for our region, I was running unopposed. Nobody else was running against me for that position. And trust me, World Headquarters and even myself, we tried to find some people to just run so it would not be a rubber stamp. You know, we wanted the members to have a vote. And it was very unusual to run unopposed for international director at the time. And when I told this to all the district leaders around the world that I had these calls with, every one of them asked me, they said, if you're running unopposed, why are you calling us? You're going to be elected. I said, here's why. Because if I'm elected, I'll be representing you on the board. And I want to get to know you. And I want to get to know your concerns, your successes. And I want you to get to know me. I said, I don't want to just be elected and never have a conversation with you. And so I think that really helped as well in networking. And when we got to the convention that next year, and I was elected by, I guess, vote of 1-0 because nobody else ran against me. Again, a lot of those people I talked to on the Zoom calls came up to me and said, thank you for introducing yourself to us and getting to know you and you getting to know us. We feel better about you being unopposed, so to speak. So that's a real big difference. Region advisor, you're appointed by the board. International director, you're voted in generally, unless you're unopposed, which doesn't happen often. You're voted in by the membership of the world, which is quite impressive, actually, when you think about it. Now, I refer to international director as the district director on steroids. Those are the folks that talk strategy. We are, in essence, board members of Toastmasters International. When you're an international director, you have an executive committee, which consists of Dan Rex, CEO of Toastmasters, the international president-elect, and first vice president and second vice president. The executive committee consists of those 5 members. When I served on the board, and it's still the same today, there are 14 international directors around the world, and we all represent a region. And so that's the makeup of the board of directors. And we are there to set and interpret policy for Toastmasters International. We are the maintainers, if you will, of the bylaws, the Constitution, everything you can think of from that standpoint. It's not the international director's responsibility to work with operational day-to-day activities for the districts. That's the region advisor. Okay, Stacy, if you could hit the next one, please. Thank you so much. So I went over a little bit about the helping hands. And I just want to stress the fact that this was my first step as getting to know everybody that attends a convention. And more than that, my first step into getting into leadership beyond the district. I had no intention of being a region advisor or international director. I just wanted to do the Helping Hands program, but being there and having a little bit of history with the folks from World Headquarters, it just sort of blossomed from that point forward. And I just so much enjoyed getting to know everybody and meeting people around the world and just sharing all those events with them. And that's what convinced me to go beyond the district. Of course, my family came first, and I asked them, and they backed me on it. Because again, that is a lot of time to be on that thing. So Helping Hands, if you get a chance at the next, well, let me back up a step. About 3 years ago, we had the international convention here in Nashville, and I was the convention chair. Most of the people who facilitated the committees on the Helping Hands program, guess where they came from? Our district. I reached out to excellent leaders in our district, future leaders, and they stepped up and they got to experience that firsthand as well. Okay, Stacy, if you could move on, please. Okay, I talked about being a region advisor. I mentioned earlier that I would have 4 monthly calls with the leadership teams of all the districts. But I also had to attend calls with other region advisors around the world and World Headquarters. So it wasn't just those 4 calls every month. It was also a 5th and sometimes a 6th call with World Headquarters and the other region advisors around the world. And that's when I really looked forward to. I love the people that I served with as region advisors. They were just amazing. And I also didn't mention that part of my role as region advisor was to visit districts in person. This was, again, at a time before COVID where we could do face-to-face visits with them. What we were asked to do when we would visit these districts, we would be asked to help them with trying to identify and start up new clubs, give educational sessions to the leadership team, anybody in the district. Sometimes they would ask us to give a keynote speech. That wasn't really what we were supposed to do. That was for international directors. But as I told the folks from World Headquarters, if somebody asked me to do a keynote speech and there's no international director there, I'm going to do it unless you tell me not to. And they said, hey, as long as there's not an international director there, you can do it. And so I did that a few times as well. Led a lot of educational sessions. I did not like downtime when I would go visit these districts. So I would ask the program quality director to identify some clubs who might need some help, or a couple strong clubs that I could go and say some encouraging words to. So I would attend club meetings as well when I would go visit these districts, because I wanted every minute spent on something productive. And so not every region advisor does that, but I just felt like I needed to do that. All right, Stacy, if you can move on, please. Okay, here are the prerequisites. I won't go over many of them because a lot of them are the same prerequisites that Stacy talked about to get to the district director level. Pretty much the same requirements to even apply as a region advisor. And then the last two bullets there, develop strong leadership skills. That's where the networking and working with the folks from World Headquarters comes into play. And then there was an interview process. I believe when I applied for region advisor, it was a 2 or 3-step interview process, which if you went beyond the first interview, that was a really good sign. Second interview, another really good sign. And then generally third interview, you're pretty much the last one standing. And that's when you get that nomination, so to speak, from the board. All right, Stacy, one more, please. Okay, international director. Again, I mentioned that it was also a board member. And we were required as international directors to give keynote speeches when we would visit the districts. Learned a lot about presenting in front of others, learned a lot of tips and tricks about using notes that the audience could not see. And I'll share this with you because I've shared this with my students at school. We're going through a communications unit right now. I would place on the stage, if there was a stage, I would have 3 pieces of paper on the floor of the stage in big letters. The first one would be just a note about my opening. The middle one would be just a note about my body. And the other one, just a note about my conclusion. Never got lost in any of my keynote speeches because the audience could not see those notes on my floor on the on the stage, but I could. As I walked across the stage and I would make eye contact with everybody, I would look down from time to time and just make sure I was covering my notes. So learned a lot of tricks like that in presenting in front of others as well. I was also asked to do educational sessions when I would visit districts. Also asked, well, I was asked by the district leadership teams to visit clubs in the area as well. Several times I had comments from those clubs I visited saying, we have never had an international director come and visit our club before. Thank you for doing that. And that just made my day. So in that role, I felt like I had to go above and beyond. But again, amazing role. I didn't know if I would like international director role as much as region advisor, but I did. They were both just excellent. Region advisor, operational again, international director, strategic. Okay, Stacy, one more, please. Okay, same prerequisites, basically. You go through the same prerequisites to make it to district director. And then after that, you really get grilled in the interview process for this role. You are interviewed by past international presidents and current board members just to see if you have the general knowledge that it takes to be an international director and serve on the board. There's certain things you have to know and certain things you really need to know as far as things in the bylaws, et cetera, et cetera. If you made it past that first round, and not many people did, to be honest with you, if you made it past that first round, that's when you were told, okay, you are officially a candidate now. You're an approved candidate by the International Leadership Committee. Doesn't mean if you don't get nominated, you can't run for international director, but having that tag as nominated by the International Leadership Committee carries a lot of weight. So you really wanted to do well in those interviews. Once you had that designation, then you could start talking to the leadership teams around the world. All right, Stacy, one more, please. And there's the executive committee that I mentioned earlier. And again, immediate past president was one as well. Our current international president is Roddy Spear. She lives in New Jersey. I had the pleasure of serving with her for 2 years as a region advisor and 2 years as an international director. Okay, Stacy, one more time. Okay, that is it for leadership beyond the district. I hope I covered enough to pique an interest in some of you. It's not easy to serve beyond the district. You have to put a lot of time in. You have to be either approved by the board or elected by the members of the board. A lot of time. I would not trade that for anything. It was just an amazing experience. And I continue to work with a lot of those members that I served with on the board. I was telling Stacy before the meeting started, I'm currently facilitating a subcommittee for a committee that the board is overseeing right now. And so I'm still very involved. Once you serve as an international director, they like to keep you busy. Unlike some districts, once you serve as district director, sometimes you kind of fade into the sunset, so to speak. Not at the international level. You are there and they will use you. So I'll turn this Zoom meeting back over to, I'm not
To
sure.
me, Connie.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Stacy and Dunn. What a wealth of information. We so appreciate you all for doing this for us. So there is one question in the chat from Michael. And Michael asks, how does the weekly time commitment for area, division, district leadership compare to club level? And what is the expectation for on-site presence / F2F? Face-to-face.
Well, as a matter of fact, we have a current area director with us tonight. I asked Lisa to be here. Lisa is serving as an area director this year. Lisa, can you talk about the time commitment that you put in just a little bit as an area director?
Sure. You have to visit each of your clubs 2 times a year and do a report that takes a little time to fill out, to turn in. And also, as far as face-to-face meetings, it is really good to go face-to-face because your experience as a Toastmaster shines through easier, and it's more personable to be face-to-face with your members. And I can make stronger connections and relationships with the people when I do attend face-to-face. So I've really enjoyed getting around to all my clubs or their presidents and meeting them in person this past year. And I would say that the contest periods are really busy. And like right now, I'm not going to my next 3 meetings. I'm going to go hybrid on Zoom because I just am doing so many other things to take time out to go to the meetings. And I would encourage, and I spending going more than 2 times a year, just so you do get to know your club's personalities and the people in them and maybe what makes them go. And you can also give more suggestions on what they can do to increase their membership and different things like that you can notice when you do both ways, hybrid and in person. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Chitra,
Yeah,
Chitra, did you have something to add?
I wanted to, Michael is not going to say this, but Michael is the president of Bridgestone's Babblers. And Michael has never lived within the district. But he has, he's came in our club he had experience from another Toastmaster clubs within Bridgestone, and he came over, and since he's been in our club, he's served in several roles, and he's currently doing a great job as our president.
Fantastic.
And that's the reason he asked about the face-to-face.
Well,
I currently live in upstate New York, so a little bit out of the way from Nashville, Tennessee.
well, I will tell you, Michael, and Don can speak to this as well. I think the online hybrid piece that we have now is one of the best things that's ever happened to Toastmasters because we can reach out and get people from all over the world, certainly throughout the United States, to be a part of our club. And I think it enriches our club when we do that. I know that Cherokee asked, is face-to-face a requirement? No, it is not, Cherokee. Most of our clubs are hybrid, and you can visit them hybrid as a area director or a division director, either one. I would say that we only have maybe a handful of clubs throughout, and I'm not even sure it's that many, throughout our district that are face-to-face only. There are a few. If you, for instance, are in New York or wherever, upstate someplace, Michael, and you had one of those clubs assigned to you, you can actually, and Lisa has done this, worked with an area director who is close to that club, and they can cover that visit for you. And then you may be cover one for them over Zoom, something like that. So we can, even your division director can step in and help you with the face-to-face only clubs. But most of our clubs, the majority of them, are hybrid, and you are certainly welcome to attend in a hybrid fashion. Absolutely. I would encourage that. I don't know if any of you have ever stepped outside your club. A lot of people don't. I remember the first time that I stepped outside my club, I was amazed because every club has its own personality. Every club does things a little bit differently. The first time I saw a club meeting that was outside my home club, I said, well, it's not the way you're supposed to do this. It's not, you know what? They had some really great ideas that I stole and took back to my home club. It is amazing to meet all of these other people. It just opens up the world tremendously, especially Don was saying in going to the international conference. I was absolutely blown away. Chitra, did you have something? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
when I was the area director, I believe Lisa's club was under me, and they were having in-person meetings. They were in Clarksville. I was in Nashville, and it was at night. I never got to see them in person, but I think I would have benefited from it because, I mean, I missed the storytelling. One day, a person had actual things that they made it was out of squash or something. Yeah, squash. And she was talking about it and had it there, and I would have benefited from being there. But I did enjoy, just like Stacy said, I enjoyed going to the different clubs and then also going to the deck meetings. And even inside the club, Stacy, along with help from Stacy and many other people, I was able to put on a spring conference right outside of COVID, and that was a great experience as far as meeting people. So, Michael, you may not be in the area, but in the future, be on the lookout for District 63 spring conferences. That's a great place to come. If you're an area director or whatever, that's just a great place to come to meet people. Even the spring conference that I was the chairperson for, we had guests who we had people attend that weren't actual Toastmasters. And it's just a great overall experience. Do we have enough time for maybe one question, and then we're going to move to closing this out. We're sorry we started late, but again, we want this to be an hour. We want to respect your time. So is there any other questions?
Not a question, but Michael, I was in the Bridgestone Babblers back in like 2016, and we're in person then out at Briley Parkway.
Okay,
I'm back down in the Franklin Club now.
nice.
Y'all do hybrid, or is it pretty much online?
So we do every third Thursday in person at the Bridgestone Tower in downtown Nashville. Recently, Bridgestone has been pushing for employees to do return to office, so it's been something that we're kind of easing into is more of a routine thing. But otherwise, the other meetings we have weekly, Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. Central on Zoom. Yeah, you're welcome to drop by, visit anytime.
Please,
Okay, thank you.
please do.
Yeah, I know Japar.
Yes,
He's active.
Yeah,
in
he's
it.
still around. He was just club president before me.
Oh.
He stepped back from some officer roles for this year after serving as president twice, but he's still very active in the club.
Okay, we have 1 minute left. I would like to bring you all's attention to the following dates. Starting March, we'll get back on our bi-monthly cadence. Next month, we will have elements of an engaging meeting where we're planning on having a discussion panel. If you're interested in being a part of that or interested in sharing what you feel is elements of an engagement meeting, please just send me or Connie an email. And Connie, could you put our email addresses in the chat? Don and Stacy, please put your email addresses in the chat as well so people can pull those up. We're going to go back into July. The end of July is when we're going to be going into starting our new Toastmaster season. So we're talking about doing storytelling, but even telling you what does it mean to be a distinguished club program. What is that? What does it take to do that? Why do we want to do that? And how that plays in the overall achievement in Toastmasters. Then time management as a club officer, and then achieving a DTM, a roadmap. A lot of people don't know what that is. If you've been to spring conference, you kind of know, but Stacy had sat down with me one time to go over that, and it's something that I think everyone should know. Last but not leastly, these are some area District 63 announcements. Thursday, you can see we have the monthly DCM meeting, which is the fourth Thursday of every month. And that corresponds to when we have our meeting on the fourth Tuesday bi-monthly. We also have our officer training. Your officers need to have their training in by February 28th, and that's the winter training. And you need to do that toward your club goals to be distinguished clubs. The next thing is we also have on Saturday, we have pathways training. You know, there are changes in pathways. Please get your people out. You can find all these things on the D63 Power 3D60 website calendar. And again, I want to thank you. We went over a minute. We will leave it open for about 5 or 10 minutes so that anyone who wants to chat or engage each other, that would be great. And does anyone, and just the meeting's over, if you want to leave, you can leave, but does anyone have any suggestions or ideas on how Connie and myself and the team can improve the D63 Power Hour?
Can I just say something since
Oh,
I'm on
yes,
here?
I'm sorry.
I just want to say thanks to Stacy and Don for doing this, and as well as you and Connie, Chitra, and everyone that joined tonight. So if you want to serve as area director or division director, that'd be great this upcoming year. Always look, or any year that you want to do this, it doesn't have to be this next year. As program quality director, I would say it's great experience. If you'd asked me if I'd be running for trio level or even division director back when I was club level, I would probably have told you no. I don't know, Don, would you say the same thing when you was back before you'd even thought about being at the international director level? Honestly,
Yeah, I wouldn't say that my first inclination was to say no, but my first inclination was, hey, I just served as district governor. That's enough. I'm gonna take a break. And then, like I said, people just came to me and it was like, we don't want you to take a break. So my first inclination was I'm done, that's it. But then it just happened.
sure. And I would say the same thing. I think it's been a great experience during this. I would say that as division director, I've learned a lot. Uh, Even as finance manager, I learned a lot. And as club coach director for the short time, as club coach director, I learned a lot. Now as program quality director, it's a great experience. As leadership, even at club level, it's a great experience. And I would encourage you to, as you go for your DTM, and I would highly recommend you consider you going for your Distinguished Toastmasters Award, because there's very few people do that. So consider it, and I look forward to seeing you do great things as a leader, no matter what direction you go in the district, or even if you're in New York, right, Don? And I may talk to you about further what about the international side of it eventually, Don, at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I could just say one thing as well, Chitra, I appreciate you leaving this open because I meant to say this during my presentation. But Michael, I just love your background. I've been looking at your background this whole time. I've never seen that type of background before in a Zoom call. It looks like a business card, basically.
It does.
I think these were available on the main site somewhere. I can't remember where and when I downloaded it.
Yeah, but I think that's the first time I've seen it. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, Connie, do you have anything else? Oh, I do have something. On March 24th, on March 20th, Thursday, March 20th, Bridgestone Babblers would be having their open house. The theme would be Come Grow With Us. We would look forward to having any of you all attend. If you're interested in attending, just send me an email and I'll either pass it on to Michael or I'll get the Zoom information for you to attend. And what we plan to do is just present what Toastmasters is and how it can help you grow not only your public speaking, but your leadership skills as well.
Peter, it sounds like that's a third Thursday, so that be in person then?
Yes, part of that will be in person. Yes, or if you're in Nashville, we will have people in person. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, everybody. I don't have anything to say. I just want to thank everybody for showing up and just being here with us. This means a whole lot for us. A whole lot of work went into putting this together, and will continue for the rest of the sessions. And we just appreciate you, and we want you to know that you matter. And we're doing what we can to help you to grow professionally, personally, or wherever you want to go. And I was so amazed with all the opportunities that Don talked about. And when I first joined Toastmasters, I had no clue about the area director. And I had no clue about that. But I have been area director and now division director, and I have learned so much. And I'm so happy that I took that opportunity. So I'm going to stop now. But again, thank you all for being here. And we hope to see you next time on March 25th.
Tell someone, please tell someone, and pass on the registration. Tell them our sessions are going to be very informational and not a waste of your time.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you again. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.